Well, good morning to each and every one of you. Today is a beautiful, beautiful day. I am Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams, and you have just tuned into Bridging the Nations. And yes, Lady Queen is here. Yes, Anthony is here. And so this morning, I wanted to do just a quick prelude. And the reason for it is because my computer, for whatever the reason, says that it's 8:10. We know that it is not. We know that it is 8 o'clock Central Time. However, because I am on Facebook and YouTube, particularly Facebook, we have to come on 10 minutes. We can't go past 10 minutes. So anyway, so I'm on here now. And so before we get into our broadcast on today, I just want to say I missed you. I know that each and every one of you are doing really well and you're doing fantastic. And that is important. That is important. So even before we come on, you know what we typically say: invite your 5 strongest friends to Bridging the Nations on today. We are still in our part 3 of our 6 week series, and we are excited. We are excited. And so I want to make sure, so when you come on, I'm going to make sure that I'm actually on here, because that looks like our different one. So when you come on today, let me know how you're doing. How has everything been in your life? Oh, that is us. We are on. And so let us know, get involved with us on today to let us know, how are you doing? And today's topic we are speaking about, I'm going to grab my notes right now, because anytime you are doing what God has told you to do, you got to have some notes. You got to have some notes. So this morning we're talking about who is on your spiritual advisory board. It is going to be dynamic. It's going to be yummy. And it's going to be great because you're here and because you have decided to be present, and because we have 3 magnificent people that have decided to break bread with you on today. So we are doing this together. And so we're getting ready to bring in our triad as we are excited. Before we go into bringing Lady Queen and Anthony Williams, and somebody asked me the other day, are y'all brother and sister? Yep. Yep. Just by different parents, that's all. It's a lot of Williams sisters out here. So before we get into breaking bread and bridging the nations, go ahead and invite people that you love, people that you care about, your children. This is going to be a good one for your children. Ones that are in college. I know people are getting ready to go back to college, getting ready to go to university. Go ahead, invite your famous 5, your 5, and we will be right back.
Hey, thank you for saving my life. I'm alive with one hand in the sky. I'm looking at the cross with both of my eyes. So I know I was born in sin, but now I'm in Christ. Yes, I'm born to win. I know that Jesus lives, and I know He is my King, and that's why I always sing, Jesus, thank you for saving my life. Hey,
morning.
Yeah, great morning to you. How are you on today? Lady Queen, we loving that hair.
Thank
She
you, sister.
got it flowing up there.
I am definitely excited about today, and
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about what we're going to talk about.
You know what? I tell you, I'm so glad that we decided to do this series. Boy, this is going to be a good one today. This is going to be a good one today. And Lady Queen, we want you go ahead and introduce yourself right on, right on. Introduce yourself right on. And then we're going to pull it back over to Anthony Williams.
Definitely. What's up, family? It's your girl Shamika, also known as Lady Queen, and I came to motivate a nation. I came to motivate a people to understand, you know what, that you can actually use the Bible to live the life that God intended for you to live since the beginning, to have your best life ever. So with that being said, I'm gonna toss it down to my brother Keith.
What up, my peeps? It's your boy, the motivational teacher to the masses, coming again to help you get there. When you came to earth, you came with something on the inside of you. And it's still there. If you're on this side of the dirt, it's still there. Get at your boy to see how to get that stuff from within to outside. Everything that God has given you is on the inside of you. Let's get to it.
Listen, every single Sunday we come on here and it's always good. It's always great information. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Devin. Nice to see you both this morning. And today, I tell you, this is going to be fantastic. They all are fantastic. They all are fantastic. So, Lady Queen, let's go ahead. We're talking today, y'all. Now, I know y'all coming on now. Coach T, Tracy, good morning, good morning, good morning. I feel like we need a little bit more time to let people come on. Okay, we're going to do that.
What's up, Coach T? What's up, Reset Coach? All these coaches.
Right, we got our coaches on this morning. The coaches said, listen, I got to get some of this before I go to work and get into my own business. So we appreciate each and every one of you coming on and invite those individuals. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and invite 5, 6, 7, 10, 25 people that I really believe this word is really going to help. It's going to nurture them. It's going to also push them to do their very, very best. And we know when you do your very best, who can ask you for more than that?
Yeah, and here's the thing. We're talking about this conversation this morning. What better than to go ahead and get your top 5 on here? Because if they don't grow with you, they can't go with you. And we're talking about who's in your spiritual cabinet. Who's your friends, who's your relationships. Get them on here so we can begin the bread breaking.
Listen, Anthony already talked. He already did a spoiler alert right there. He talked about your spiritual cabinet. Yes, indeed. We are talking about who is on your side. I can break it down. Who on your side? Who are you talking to every single day about things that are important to you? Who are you speaking about? Who is giving you counsel? So we're going to have Lady Queen to start us off this morning. Go ahead, Lady Queen.
Definitely. This conversation is just as important as, let me first just commend all those that get on every Sunday morning.
Yeah.
You could be asleep. You could be turning over right now, or even drinking your cup of coffee, to go do whatever. But, you decide to come in and listen to what God has given us. So I just want to commend each and every one of you that join every single Sunday. Those that are here right now, you're not here by chance, by circumstance. By just so happen to be here, but I believe that God definitely has something that you need to hear on today. As Brother King said, we are talking about who is on your spiritual, you're basically your spiritual board. Who do you have? The Bible talks about your hoary heads, those that have wisdom. Who do you have that basically can help guide you? Because regardless, no matter what, family, we still need those people that we talk to and say, hey, this is what, or whatever it might be, whether it be a coach for whatever we're looking into, certain aspects of our life. It is so important to really look around and say, okay, do I have the best person for me? Because I think a lot of times we have a good person, but it's not necessarily for us, and we, we go along with it. We go along with it because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. I remember one time that I actually called an individual and I said, hey, I appreciate so much everything you've done for me. And I really think, and I really prayed and said, God, give me the words, because I'm not good with this. I'm really not. Yeah, and so I was like, I prayed, God, give me the words. But I called him and said, hey, I think it's time, I appreciate everything that you've done, and all that stuff. But I do think it's time that, God's kind of geared me this way, and being okay with that. But another thing that I noticed, I've been studying the book of Samuel, 2 Samuel chapter 13, where we know about Tamar and Amnon. Tamar and Amnon, they're half brother and sister. And Amnon, am I freezing?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Amnon ends up raping his sister, but before Amnon rapes his sister, he's really, really sick. Like he's sick. He's sick. Like it's just kind of. Have you ever been so in love that it made you sick? That's what Amnon said he was. He was so in love that it made him sick. Now he was moping around, and one of it says a friend, and according to the Bible, it says a friend. But this really is his first cousin. And he tells him, listen, this is what you do. He says, lay in the bed, tell your dad, who is King David, tell your dad that you're sick, but you want your sister to come and feed you. And like he's giving him these details of what to do. Well, after he does that, we understand the story where Amnon rapes Tamar. And then after that, her bigger brother, which this brother has the same mother and father, the bigger brother ends up killing Amnon. His name is Absalom. Absalom ends up killing Amnon, and the same first cousin comes back to David and tells him, like, hey, don't worry, God is protecting your other sons. It was just Amnon. And almost like he's there as a spiritual guidance, right? As a spiritual guidance. And what I realized is, I said, you know what? This started with the idea of him on there, right? You know what? They need this word too, but we could block them, but they need this word too. I hope you listening. But you know what? This gentleman gives him, or this first cousin gives him advice, right? Gives him advice, but then pretends to be like a spiritual, prophetic type person. And I was like, man, isn't that a snake in the grass? You're the one who gave Amnon this idea. And then now you're trying to comfort the father because his son is dead, because you gave him an idea to go and rape his sister, to take his sister, and back then, her being a virgin back then, was a disgrace to do this thing and to not marry her. And so I look at that and I said, you know what? We really have to be careful who's in our circle. We really have to be careful who's around us, because even the ones that are so say part of our family, that are so say a part of our close knit community, they aren't always for you. They are not always for you. So you have to be very attentive, because they end up seeing it later on down the road that he was the one that started a lot of this. But the thing is, he was a snake in the grass. Let me tell you, the enemy is so cunning. The enemy is so cunning. They're not going to present to you something that you don't like. That made sense to Amnon, because he was so in love, to make himself feel better, he had to quench that thirst. He had to quench that thirst, right? And it made so much sense to Amnon, but it was wicked. It was wicked. It came from even the spiritual lineage of his grandmother, which was Jezebel. But you have to watch who's around you.
Yes.
Like, you know what? We have to get to the place where it's okay if we have to separate.
Come
It
on.
like
Come
a
on.
lot of times we're like, dang, like, I want to be their friend, and I wanted this. It's okay if you know, like I said, love everyone, but it's okay that they are not a part of your triad. It's okay that they're not a part of your spiritual advisory. It's okay that you have to go your separate ways. It is okay. And a lot of time we hold because we want to hold on to things and we want to hold on to people. Just imagine if Israel would have held on to Esau, he would have died. He would have died. But they went their separate ways. Brother King, I see you smiling. I'm not going there today, Brother King. I see you smiling. I'm not going there today. But I want you to, it is okay. We have to remember that. We have to be careful who's in our circle. Sister Kim,
Hey,
you go next, or Brother King?
yeah, I'll pick up from there. I like the fact that you said that sometimes it's okay to walk away. And I'm gonna break bread. Most time we can't walk away because we see so much of ourselves in that person. If I walk away from them, I walk away from me. And we believe that it's somewhat that I'm giving up on me if I walk away from that person that reminds me of who I am, or maybe who I used to be. And I've evolved to the point to where I'm not that person anymore. But I've seen myself so many times in the mirror as that image of who I am that I can't walk away. And you see that a lot what happened to these athletes, these entertainers who have worked on their body their whole life, or worked on their skill, their craft, their whole life as it relates to that genre, and never worked on their mind as it relates to their own personal growth and evolution. And so now I'm in a different tax bracket, but I'm in the same mental bracket as the person I grew up in the hood with. Let me break bread right now. Let me break bread. We going in early today. We going in early today. I told y'all better get on here on time. We ain't like Jesus turning water into wine. We ain't saving the best for last. We giving the good stuff all 60 minutes.
You need to be on time. Be on time. You're on time for work. Need to be on time for bridging the nation.
Hey, we giving the good stuff we slinging fire the whole 60 minutes. If you miss 2 of them, you might miss something, change your life. Let me get back to my point. I digress. Let me get back to this point. I'm gonna pass it up. We're gonna be long today. Here's the truth. Here's the issue. I love the fact that when God created the heavens and the earth, Lady Queen been breaking that Bible down. I'm gonna give a little bit too. When he created the heavens and the earth, he placed the seed. I call it the law of Genesis. The seed is always within itself. All right. The seed is always in itself. Let me give you an example. If I want to plant an apple tree, I go get an apple, take the seed from within the apple, I plant the apple seed, and I will get another apple tree. The law of Genesis. If I want to what's the word when you reproduce cows? If you want to be a cattle person and you want to reproduce cows, I get a male cow and a female cow, and it gives me a baby cow. The law of Genesis, the seed is always within itself. If I want to breed bulldogs, I get a male bulldog, a female bulldog, and they're going to give me another bulldog. I'm setting up precedents. I'm just saying this is how it is. I'm setting up precedents. The seed is always within itself. And so when you look around at your top 5, the top 5 relationships in your life, whether it's friends, spouse, cousin, the people if you look at your cell phone, you see who you spend the majority of your time with. It's like looking in a mirror because the seed is within itself. We attract what we are. If I'm not intentional, deliberate, and conscious about where I'm going, and I'm in autopilot, I can only attract what I am. And a lot of times our cabinet looks like what I look like. For example, let me give you an example. Barack Obama, when he was president, you saw his administration was a lot younger. He had a lot of young people around him in his administration. Now you got Joe Biden. You see Joe Biden have a much more seasoned cabinet around him because the seed is within itself. And it's the same thing for your and my life, in that we evolve mentally, but our cabinet or our relationships, I like what Queen says, our circle never evolves because I subconsciously see myself how I started, and I don't see myself where I am today. It doesn't mean that I don't bring a couple relationships with me from where I was, but it does mean that my circle has to evolve to where I'm going. I'm breaking bread right now. And so many of us so many of us sit back and, well, I can't lead this person because we've been through this, that, and the other. They knew me when I was just a little peon. They knew me when I had my small beginnings. They knew me as little Tony, and they can't see the evolution. and to Anthony. They knew me when I didn't have anything. But here's the reality. And I got people from my past, like I said, like it's only one person qualified to give my eulogy, I think, that understands my life from elementary school to the day. There's only one person I believe that's qualified to give my eulogy, and we've been through it all together because he knows the good, the bad, the ugly, the stuff you don't tell the people outside. He knows it all, and we've evolved together. And so my question is, if I have somebody in my circle that we grew up together, I love it, I identify with them, I love them, but at what point do we say, okay, now you're pulling me back to where I was? If all our conversations are talking about where we were, where we've been, and there's no conversation about where we're going, I might need to evolve my circle. I'm breaking bread right now. I might need to evolve my circle if the majority of our conversation revolves around the past. I don't know how else to say that. And if we're always fantasizing about what was, then your future is a recreation of the past. And you create them same experiences that were in your past in your future because that's the topic of your conversation. The seed is within itself. Answer that, Marie.
Listen, so we gave y'all just a pre-slot right now. So I see some of y'all are waking up. You got your coffee, you got your tea, you done wipe your face, brush your teeth, and all that. If you missed this first 10 minutes already, go ahead and go on back and hit the replay a little bit later on. Stay on with us now. Listen.
I already broke a sweat.
You know,
10 minutes. Hey, I talked 10 minutes. I'm already, and I'm sitting there. I ain't moved. I thought I was calm.
That's what happens when you're passionate about what you're saying. So for those of you that, I love our team that we have because we can do this. Ain't nobody even gave a scripture. I'm like, take that back. Lady Queen did give one.
Lady Queen gave a book.
A whole
book. She broke the whole book down.
Yeah, because you said something that'll spark something. So I had to take a little note down.
In the chat, I gave you all 4 different scriptures. And we'll just go to one. Ecclesiastics. Yeah, Ecclesiastics. The 7th chapter, the 5th verse. It says
it in the Bible.
It is in the Bible. It is better to heed or to take some type of solitude, the rebuke, or the Bible calls it a rebuke. But when somebody pulls your coattail, how about we say that? But the Bible says it's better that somebody pulls your coattail, that person is a wise person, than to listen to the songs of fools. I remember my grandmother used to say, don't you ever call people fool. And I said, Grandma, ain't fool in the Bible? There it is right there. Ecclesiastes 7:5. Give you one more. The other scripture I wanted to give you was Proverbs 13:20. It says, walk with the wise and become wise. That's a preach word right there.
Oh, man. Come on.
When you walk,
we can shut it down.
That have wisdom, then you become wise. It says, for a companion of fools suffer harm. Y'all know this stuff? It's in the Bible. Listen. Oh, yeah. Walk with the wise, you become wise. What happens when we talk about reciprocal things? What happens when you walk with fools?
You become a fool.
You become a fool.
A straight up fool.
Correct.
Hey,
and it says
they foolishness plus your foolishness, you too excellent.
Yeah, that's a mess. It also says in Proverbs 12:15, the way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. Sometimes you have to listen. That young lady back in the day, she had that thing on YouTube or Facebook. She said, listen, Linda, that young lady was very wise. She knew. And just for, Googles and laugh, we'll give you Proverbs 18. Listen, the book of Proverbs is awesome. Yes. Fools find no pleasure in understanding. You ever been around somebody just kind of want to continue to argue? I don't have time to argue with you about anything. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinion, even if it ain't right. I'm still going to say what I got to say. Have you ever had a situation? Have you ever had somebody that you were around when you know? Have you ever had a situation where somebody tries to convince you of the lie that they done told was true? Yeah, let me put my hand up. They have convinced themselves so much already. But we want to tell you today this: be very aware of the people that you surround yourself with. Be very specific and intentional about your spiritual advisory board. That's just what we called it. Be very intentional. Don't just let anybody come around you and speak words into you and they want to lay hands on you and you flipping back and they done spit on their hand and put it on your face. No, ma'am, no, sir. I don't care. I don't care who you are. No, ma'am. We have to be very intentional. And what I began to think about, this is what I was thinking about when William had said some things, is I know his name, Anthony. Y'all mind your own business. Is this right here is if a political person, if a president can say that he or she, oh, y'all gonna catch it later. If can say that he or she needs to have people that are around them and will surround themselves even before they make great decisions about a country, about a bill, about a law, then wouldn't that tell you that surrounding yourself with a great spiritual advisory board, even nonprofits have what? Advisory boards. Mm-hmm. So I want you to think about that. Even when it looks at even churches, people that have go to churches, they have an advisory board. And this is what I believe. This is really, truly what I believe. Hey, Kenny. I love what Kenny said. He said, facts. If you not in my circle, you cannot pray for me on anything else. Oh my. Oh
Come
my.
on, bro. Come on,
But a
bro.
lot of times what we do is we go and we will have somebody that we don't know, but they may be in our mind, they may be very famous. And you will have those persons to speak words over you. You do not even know their lifestyle. You don't know people's lifestyles. But I want to say this to you today. Many times, God will often communicate his word or his will and wisdom to you through other people. Through other people that are like-minded individuals that care about you. That's what I mean when I say like-minded. People that care about you, people that understand your struggle, people that understand, like William said, he has one person, people that know where you have come from. Those are the people that you want to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with. I didn't say those are the only, but those are the people that many times God will communicate his will and wisdom to you through those particular people. If I know that somebody is practicing witchcraft, but they got a lot of money, you cannot do anything for me. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how many cars you got. I don't care how many suits you got on. And people done came and robbed you at your church, and you the next Sunday done came in with a Gucci suit on. You cannot speak nothing to me. Y'all gonna catch that one later too. You cannot speak to me. You're not a part of my spiritual advisory board. When I think about this, it made me, last night I was thinking about it. So I had a trip that I had to go to Savannah this past week. And it was 4 of us that we ended up having to take this trip. And I remember our team actually got separated. So there were 3 women, including myself, from Wisconsin, and there was 1 woman from Texas. And we had our flight from Savannah to Atlanta. We had a delay. So anyway, we ended up missing our flight. And so eventually we got separated because they only had 2 seats. So I said to everyone else, I said, you guys go ahead and get on back to Wisconsin. And I'll stay back. Watch this. So they put me in a hotel, And that morning I'm coming back and I had to take the, Atlanta, something else. You got to take the rail, and then I had to get on the metro, the train, and so on and so. But I was enjoying the process because I said on our girls trip, I said, there's something to learn here. There is a lesson in this. I don't know why we missed it and it was raining. I don't know why, but there actually has to be a lesson in this. So I end up going to the no plug, but if y'all want to give us some unlimited Sky Miles and some trips, y'all can do it. It's Bridging the Nations on Facebook. So I end up going to the Delta Sky Lounge, right? And so when I went there, I had me, some little food. I love a story, y'all know that. So I was eating, and then I went up, and there was a woman who was like kind of cleaning the area. And she gave me a look. Now, when somebody gives you a look, that there was a connection there. So she gave me a look. She said, "How are you?" And I love Southern hospitality. There's nothing like it. And I said, "I'm doing well." She said, "Yes, you are. You like-minded." I looked, and my spirit, my own internal spiritual advisory board said, "Slow down. There's something that she needs to say." And so I intentionally, after I ate that oatmeal, I sought her out. I'm like, wait a minute, there is something. You got a word in your mouth for me. You ever had that situation where you like, listen, God done showed me you something, you done showed me you something that's happening, something is going on. So this is what I did. So I went, and so I found her again. She was putting the the Lay's potato chips up on the and I looked at her and I said, "How are you today?" She said, "I'm doing well." She said, "So you came back?" And I said, "Watch this." I said, "Yes, ma'am." Now I'm Southern. I said, "Yes, ma'am, I did." She said, "There's a reason why you are not here with your friends." Now, let me tell y'all something. There's absolutely no way that she would have known that I had come there with anybody. No way. And so of course, my ears, I was like, "Oh Lord, okay, yeah." So now I'm excited. So now if I'm finna break bread, if it's too deep for you, just close your ears. There's a point in your life when you can pull on somebody. You can literally pull on somebody. I'm not gonna go all deep into it. It's in the Bible. You can. Okay, the lady, she saw Jesus. She touched the hem of the garment. She was pulling on him. I'll just leave you with that one. And so she said to me, I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "I came back because I really believe that there is something that either I'm not listening to, or there's something that God wants me to hear. And I really, truly believe that it's from you." And she said, "Yeah, there is." She said, "I watched you when you came in." Now, for some people, that could be a little creepy. But for me, I was like, "Yes, Lord." I believe that God has people that are assigned to our lives.
He does.
God has people that are assigned to our lives. And whether you believe in angels or not, this is not the broadcast that we're going to even say you're right or you're wrong. But I believe this woman was assigned to me. And so she looked at me, she said, "Let me take my break and I want to talk to you." I just came into the Sky Lounge. I came to go get me some juice, some oatmeal up here, some juice and some oatmeal and a Nutri-Grain bar. That was my agenda. We sat down in this little back area, and she said to me, "I know that you believe that you got separated for just because of things were not going right with y'all tickets and so on and so forth." She said, "But you are the person, you're going to have to walk a road that is the least less traveled."
The narrow road.
I just looked at her. I said, "You are correct. I've had to walk this road, for quite some time." She said, "That is intentional. You cannot surround yourself with people all the time, all different kinds of people. You have to be very aware and very cautious, very alert on who you surround yourself with, because there's a word in your mouth that you must share to the masses." When that lady and she sat down and she asked a little bit about my, my natural life, my husband and my children and things such as that. And I just kind of looked at her. So when somebody is speaking words like that to you, you kind of like got a plate and you like, give me all of it. I just want it all. I just want every bit of it. And so she said to me, she said, so I want you to know, this is what she said. I'm telling you all my business this morning. She said, I want you to know you need to slow down. There's nothing else that you need to accomplish. You need to slow down. You need to allow for God to saturate everything that God wants for you to have. You need to allow for that to happen. But it's hard because I am a hypervigilant woman, by the way. And I need to slow down. So I looked at her and I said, okay. I wasn't crying because before, back in the day, I'd be like, oh, Lord. I didn't cry because I knew that this woman was assigned to me. And so my point to you today is that make sure that you don't always go into something where you have the solution. You cannot always be the solution for everything. You need to have other people around you that can help you. You never should always want to be the smartest person in the room and holding every conversation. You're not that. You shouldn't want to be that, right? And so when I was thinking about that and so how God set that up, and then we're talking about this today. So God will use other people to send you messages because they understand who you are. And even though this woman didn't know me from Jack and the Beanstalk, I believe that God had assigned her for that particular moment to get a word to me. Lady Queen?
There's a couple of things, and if you don't have an ink pen in your paper, you need to, or even take notes in your phone, because what I realize is, even with what Brother King and Sister Queen were saying, number one, we have a problem in society, in our community, where we lower the standard versus raising the bar. For our fellow loved ones to get over. Brother King was talking about that, about having the poverty people or poverty mindset people around you. When I read in the Bible where it says there's a season, there's a time to pluck up, and there's a time to plant. And I think we have a difficult time switching seasons. So that's number two. We have a difficult time shifting. We have a difficult time shifting the thing. And then number three is we hold on to things we should not hold on to. So, for example, whether it's when a fruit is ripe, you're supposed to cut it off or it's going to go rotten, right? It's going to go rotten. We have a problem cutting things off. Another thing, I was talking about that story when I was with Brother King, when Tamar was raped by her brother. After she was raped by him, she begged him to stay. And I was like, listen, y'all, when I was reading the Bible, I said, sis, hold on now, shake back, sis. You begging someone that has raped you to stay. But I realized we do that in society today. Someone violates us, someone rapes us spiritually, someone takes advantage of us, and we want them to accept us. Please don't reject me. Accept me. Accept me, please. Take me in. I need your approval. Because what Tamar told her brother is, you've already disgraced me. Casting me away would be worse than disgrace. So you're telling me that rejection is worse than being raped, being abandoned, or being left alone? Because loneliness ain't nothing like loneliness is a straight monster. It's a beast. But rather than being alone, I'd rather stay with you who violated me. I'd rather stay with you who took advantage of me. I'd rather stay with you that disgraced me. But please accept me. Please keep me. Please tell me that I'm good enough. And we do that in our culture. In our culture, we do that too much. We have not learned how to say, you know what? I am enough. I am who I say I am. I am who the word of God says I am. I am enough. But we will say, please accept me. Please tell me that I'm good enough. Please tell me that my hair's the right way. Please tell me that I'm doing this the right way. Please tell me that I'm in the right profession. Please tell me that I'm doing entrepreneurship right. Please tell me whether or not I should do entrepreneurship. Whether, like, we look for approval in anyone who's going to give it to us, because we just want to be accepted. We don't know how to say, okay, it's ripe, it's matured, it's time to cut off. Like, we don't know how to, because understand, even in that ripe apple, that ripe fruit, there's seeds in there that need to be planted elsewhere. But the thing is, we don't want to release from because, oh, well, you've been giving me life for so long, and not realizing that you've matured. You've given me life for so long, so I got to stay connected to you, and I got to hold on to you, because it would be a shame that you've done this for me for so long and I leave. Listen, I will tell any and everyone, understand, the people that are in your life that fed you even while you were a babe, always show gratitude. But it is okay to say, I'm matured enough now, and now I need to go towards this way. It's okay to do that. But see, in our mindset is, oh, well, being that you've taken care of me, I need to show you gratitude by staying around. I'm actually doing you a disservice, because you technically might need me later on down the road, where I mature elsewhere, and then I can come back and be of service to you. But if you hold on to something for too long, now you've made it rotten, and it ain't no good. The seeds ain't no good. You can't plant the seeds that are within that fruit. You can't plant it, because it's no good. You've allowed it to rot. That's why the Bible tells us, it says there is a season for everything. And we have to realize what season we're in and be okay to pluck things when it's time to be plucked. Brother King?
Love that. Love that. And I'm going to pick up right where you left off. And the reason why we're afraid to pluck, or we're hesitant to pluck, is because of our value system, our value proposition. I don't deem myself as valuable. Therefore, I know that you all can't see me as valuable. So I will keep whatever mess around in my life, because subconsciously, that's how I see myself. On this last Monday, if you haven't seen it, I'm up 700 views. Go check it out. We talked about what is your value, how your values determine your value. Most people look for a job to give them a raise, or they look for validation externally from their boss, or they look for their parents to tell them how much they love them, or they look for their siblings to really cast a lot of praise on them, because their value is determined externally. Your value can never be your values. If you're not working on your values, your value can never increase. And as long as your values stay consistent, so will your circle. And the same seed the Lady Queen was just talking about, to set it up, the same seed that was meant to produce life and grow multiple trees in your life where you can reap multiple fruit, dies on the inside of you, because your value system never improves. And I see the eyes looking at me, and I know these people looking at me to sit here and listen to us for 42 minutes. You got something on the inside of you. In order to get the most amount of fruit from your life, your values have to improve. But then now you can increase your value. I talked about it 1 hour last week. I'm not gonna go into that whole word. But the moment you start to see yourself as more valuable, people will see you as more valuable, and they'll treat you as more valuable. I started the conversation off. The seed is within itself. We cannot change that. And I love the fact everybody gave a scripture. Let me give one. 1 Peter chapter 2. You are a chosen generation. Why is it so important that you know who you are? When you know when the great I am allows you to awaken your I am, when you know who you are, you will not settle. Anything where you don't know the value of, or you don't know the purpose of, we will misuse it.
You just hit the nail on the head, bro. We don't know who we are.
We don't know. We don't know. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. But when you see yourself as a filthy rag, when you see yourself as just a mistake on this earth, when all I am is just this, when you see yourself as less than, guess what? I tolerate less than in my life. Lady Queen told the story. What was the lady's name? What was it? Tamar. Yeah, like the Braxton. Yeah, Tamar. All Tamar did, that whole situation was a reflection of how Tamar saw herself. If she had saw herself as a royal priesthood or a peculiar people, as being been chosen, she would have walked away and said, "Man, I'll go if I have to go by myself." She would have did to Abraham. I'm gonna leave all these kindred because they crazy, and I think I got a seed on the inside of me that must mature. All of that was a reflection of how she saw herself. And my question, I love that, Kenny. You have to have a valuable connection with your inner self. Guess what? If you don't value you, the world is not going to increase your value. Look at this. Exxon, BP, and Chevron all posted record highs in earnings last quarter. Meanwhile, people of America paid $5-6 at the pump. And you had mothers out there making life decisions about can their kids eat grocery this week, or where they going to get grocery this week, versus do I put gas in my car? Meanwhile, Exxon, BP, Chevron posting record earnings in the billions.
Yep.
They made almost $3,000 per second, 24 hours a day, and we're at the pump making life decisions, and we subconsciously believe that they are going to raise our value in this earth. If you don't raise your value internally, I can promise you, nobody externally is going to raise your price. It's up to you to get down and do the work.
Yeah.
To do the work. If I'm gonna say it this way, and you got to go back and listen to the last Motivational Mondays. Increase your values, and your value will increase. When your value, and this is the thing, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna pass it on. Your inner circle is attracted from your value. People around you are attracted to your value. Look at the people around you, and you're able to see your level of production. I know that's strong. I know we don't like looking in the mirror, but I'm telling you, people, you attract your value. And if you feel like right now, like the seat I sit in right here, God didn't just, hey, let me put Anthony in that seat. I attracted this seat I sit in, whether good or bad.
Oh my!
I attracted this seat. It ain't like, oh God, Father, put me. No, my values attracted me to this place that I'm in, whether it's good or bad. I love it that it's on me, because if I got here, I can get out of it. And then if I got here and I like where I am, I can get more. So if you begin to increase your, and I say values, your behavior system, begin to improve your values, and you'll watch your value level up around you. Bread broken. Dr. Williams.
Listen, you know what? I love what Kenny said. Kenny said people want to be on top of the mountain, but they don't want to make that climb to get there. And so we shifted at 8:35. So we're going to sit in this shift. That is exactly right. A lot of times, all the time, we hear a lot of stuff. We gain a lot of information. But the problem that we have is execution. The problem that we have is activation. The problem that we have is applying what you're listening to even today on Bridging the Nations. When are you going to apply this? One of the things that we've said, even whenever we started this over 2 years ago, was that we wanted to be able to empower, to inspire people, to motivate people, so on and so forth. We wanted to be able to do that, but we wanted people not to just listen to what we're saying here on Bridging the Nations. We want them to execute. What do you do with all of this? Our first thing that first episode that we did was we were talking Psalms 23. What now we're talking to you in Ecclesiastics and Proverbs, but our mission and vision is still the same. We want to help equip you. We want to have you to gain knowledge, but we want you ultimately to look at you as in your natural self, in your humanistic way, and then your own deity, your divinity, right? And put those together. That's how you live on this earth. And so when we look at things and we look at our value, who are we and why are we giving other people the opportunity to say how valuable we are?
Come on.
Like I'm going to allow for you to tell me how valuable I am. I'm going to allow for you to tell me if I am an asset or not. And then When we sit in that, we are then waiting for those people to speak a word to us. People that don't want to value you at all anyway. We're waiting for those people that, let me say this, that really don't even like you. We're waiting for them to speak a word to us. Because let me tell you what I do know for sure is that if you don't know who you are, the enemy externally knows who you are. I guarantee you that. That's why it's always somebody, something, some situation always trying to shift and block you. So let me get biblical right now. The Bible talks about how the enemy, the devil, goes and he walks back and forth, seeing it. Why do you think the devil would do something like that? The enemy would do something because the enemy knows who you are.
Come on.
The enemy knows how valuable you are. The enemy knows how much of an asset you are. I ain't used to these braids yet, y'all. The enemy knows. The enemy knows, and the enemy saying, listen, I don't even want Shamika to wake up. I don't want her to even understand how valuable she is. No matter what comes out of her mouth, whether it's crypto, whatever it is, I do not want her to wake up today. That's why you have to fight.
Spoiler alert, I read the Bible. I know who I am.
So you have to know who you are. It's almost like when people, with the mega bucks or mega millions or whatever, somebody in Illinois won 1 point some billion dollars, and I think they took 700 and something $1 million. Even when that person did not know, the people in the background, people that do the lottery, they knew who this person was. You have to surround yourself with people, good advisors, people that are godly advisors that understand the gift that God also has upon your life. People that are not grievous. People that are not jealous. People that will say, you know what? Listen, I don't have the gift that God has given you, but I still know that you are valuable to this earth. So I'm going to help. I'm going to help equip you. I'm going to give you wisdom. I'm going to give you wise counsel, rather. You have to be able to know the difference between those people versus the people that just want to sit in your company just to go ahead and suck all of the wisdom and information out of you, and then they go and do something else with it. We have to understand, just like Carrie said, we are so powerful. And that is what the enemy seeks. The enemy knows that we're powerful. Do you know that you're powerful?
That's the question of the day.
That is the question of the day. Do you know that you are powerful? Do you understand that God deliberately decided to create you, to have you to be how you are, to look how you look, to have you to be involved in the family for whatever that reason was? And now what are you doing? Do you know who you are? Do you understand, Kenny? I can speak it just on the comments. Do you understand that you should have people in your circle to hold you accountable, to exercise the gift that God has given you? Everybody that's on your advisory board, your advisory council, whatever it is, it should not be always, oh, it's okay. You're perfect. You never do anything wrong. No, you have to have people that truly love you. The Bible says that God disciplines us because he cares about us. So if they have the like-mindedness of God, the like-mindedness of Christ, then that also means that people that love you, that sit on your advisory, or that are advisors to you, sometimes they got to pull your coattail. Sometimes they have to say, listen, that is not the way. You need to go back and correct that without you catching an attitude. Can you do that part? So be very intentional about who you intentionally allow to be around you, to also be around your children. I don't know who that was for, Be very careful, ladies and gentlemen, because you won't hear today. Be very careful of who you allow to be around your children, to be speaking words to your own children, right? Don't just sit your children and let your children stay at people's houses and you don't know what's going on up in that house. Be very careful about that because that is your seed. Anthony already talked about the seed. That's your seed.
Yeah, and let me chime in on that piece right there, sis. And part of the reason why they came to us is for us to groom their I am. Part of it is that the great I am has placed these children in our house, in our houses, to protect their I am. We got one job. We got literally we have one job, and that's to make sure that they believe, they think that anything they want to do on this earth is able to be accomplished. Because that's the part that I love about the great I am. Natural people love putting limits on people based on their genealogy, based on their looks, based on their religion, based on their economical status. You came from this neighborhood, you're gonna be labeled. I was labeled a statistic. My dad was in prison. My mom, we were on welfare from time to time. It was 8 of us in the 3-bedroom trailer. The world had already put what their value was on my life, and it was that of someone that's most likely to be in prison than it is to be running a Fortune 100 company, than it is to be one as an international motivational teacher. They had already spoken their value statement on what they saw me as. My mom said, "No, you going to college? You could be governor of Alabama. Whatever you want to do, you can execute. This trailer don't define you."
Yes.
We got one job. And then see, on the flip side, it's true too. I know you got a 10,000, 12,000 square foot house, but I tell my kids all the time, you got zero. You don't have anything. We got that. Your mama and I. So it's the same thing on both sides. Like everything out here is not given, it's earned.
Yes.
And I love the fact that God doesn't give anybody, I'm gonna say this like Dr. William, anybody everything. Everybody got something they got to work at. So let's get to work.
Lady Queen.
You know, I just like, and I'm gonna leave this piece. Just watch who you have around you. You know, they said something earlier about, you know, fools hang out with fools, or if you hang out with fools, you become a fool. Start looking at the people that your people hanging out with. Start looking around you, because some of them hanging around some fools. Some of them hanging around some fools. So start looking around you. You know, hopefully we got some wise folks around, you know, but like I said, you know, I just truly believe it is that season where you have to be so careful, because even those, because I think, doesn't the Bible say like your friends are the ones that will give you a wound, or close of the wounds of a friend, or something of that nature. But those that are close are actually the ones that can hurt you, you know, and which are family and friends. You know, if a stranger does something to me, I might be bothered about it, but at the end of the day, it's you, it don't even matter, because we don't have no relationship. It's those that you have relationships with that can cause wounds. And if you don't allow those wounds to completely heal, then you actually, what Brother King talked about, if my wound isn't completely healed, I'm going to draw that same type of wound of other individuals. And then, you know, because I see myself, you know, and I'm going to draw those things. And then I can't figure out why mentally I can't shake this, why mentally I can't get out. So, you know, definitely just be careful who's in your circle, who's around you, and don't be afraid to be the season of plucking up.
Absolutely. And that's the part where we're going to end on, is that when you know that, you know, there's people that are in your life, and I've said this so many times, some people are in your life for a specific reason, and you have to identify what that specific reason is. Some people are in your life because of a particular, we'll see you later, Lady Queen. Some people are in your life for a particular reason. There's something, there's a reason. And some people may be in your life for a lifetime. It is up to you to know and to understand what that is, who those people are. And I think one of the things that I like what Anthony said, if you say that you got 20 best friends, you may want to go back and re-examine that. Best friends, best just it means best. How can you be best times 20? So I understand that today's word was for everybody. It was for us,
Yeah,
including us.
I take notes.
Right. We always take notes. And so our thing and what we're going to leave to you today is be aware who is surrounding you, who you are allowing to be surrounded in your presence, but be very intentional about who is on your advisory board. Who do you go to for counsel? Who do you go to besides God? Because you should go, let's leave that here. You should be going to God before you make any decision about anything. It should already have been some communication that you have already had. So before you go and you make these decisions, have individuals that you know that love you. That love you. Your mama says she on her way, on my way to work. have people that you know that love you, not just people that have what we call itchy ears. People just want to be in your business. There is a difference. And today our goal is to equip you with that knowledge so that you can make really great choices, that people that are in your circle excuse me, can hold you accountable to exercise what you said, or we call them the gifts that God has given you. That woman in the Delta Sky Club, I'm telling you, she woke up something in me. And many times what happens is we know that God is pulling on you to separate yourself or be, to be capital B, capital E. And sometimes we are, whether it's tension, afraid, or we don't know what goes down that road and we don't want to be by ourselves. When you mature, sometimes you just say, okay, there's no fighting it. There's no reason that you have to fight it. So you just have to be very deliberate about the people, because everybody has influence.
But sis, I think though sometimes we've been in so many dysfunctional relationships, we've forgotten what a functional relationship is and how a relationship should make me feel. And what's the purpose of a functional relationship? Because again, the seed is within itself. Hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we begin to attract what we are. And then we see ourselves when we blink and we begin to have our I am awakening. We're around a bunch of people that are just as broken as we are, and none of us can help each other heal.
I know.
And that's like, I mean, it's a lot of us, and I say us, that need to be on somebody's sofa. And we need to be talking these things out. We need to be having these conversations, because if I don't change me internally, nothing externally is going to change.
Absolutely.
And as long as I'm speaking and I'm speaking and I'm relating to my past trauma, then that's why you have so many different Facebook groups, right? Like you think about the whole QAnon, the QAnon, the January 6th thing. Like I never got one advertisement, one suggestion about joining that January 6th group of people that went to the Capitol. Never got one, because there's nothing on the inside of me that attracts me to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I never got anything about going to the Capitol that day.
Yeah.
But if there's a spirit of poverty, there's a spirit of lust, I guarantee you that's the thing that you're most attracted to when your eyes go across to your Facebook groups. And those are the ones you're more attracted to. Those are the ones I look more into, than the one you end up clicking go to. Mm-hmm. And so that if we don't begin to heal from our past trauma, I can't get anything different.
Yes.
I had somebody tell, I always get the same type of woman. It's not the woman. I get to this place, I take care of them, and then they let me go. I said, it's not the woman, bro. It's you.
Yes. Yes. And I'm gonna just, Lord have mercy, Jesus. I love what you said, Anthony. Many times what we do is that we feel as though, okay, well, let me just pray it through, and prayer is needed. But can I say something to you just from a psychologist's perspective? You can pray, but as Anthony said, some of us just need to sit on somebody's couch. Some of us need to cry it out. Some of us need to understand reciprocal patterns, which is what Anthony's speaking about. Some of us need to understand.
She dropped that doctor word, reciprocal patterns. Let me come into a motivational Monday near you.
Some people need to understand cognitive dissonance, that we are allowing certain things. So we have to. So I am a cheerleader for people sitting down, having conversations with a therapist, a counselor. They are different. But having a conversation and getting some of this stuff out of you. Anytime I sit and I have conversations with people and people are like, oh, Dr. Williams, can I get a tissue? No. And the reason why I don't do it is because there are times in your life where you need to pour it all out. It needs to drain. When you hold things in, it creates toxicity in your body. And then what happens is that your amygdala, which is back here, your amygdala becomes hijacked. And then you're like, well, everybody I know, does me this way. It's not everybody that you know. It's your experiences that are telling you that it's everybody that you know. And some of us need to sit down, whether you are on a couch, whether you are in a chair, you need to sit down and have a conversation with people. Childhood trauma, that is the reason why I went into psychology. I had so much childhood trauma, but then people were telling me, oh no, just pray about it and forgive them. Baby, I could not pray. I couldn't pray about it enough. But I had to sit down with someone to say, listen, I have experienced this, from childhood trauma to young adult trauma to, see my dog even saying amen, to childhood trauma, adult trauma. And I had to come to, some people say, to the end of myself. I'm not going to ever come to the end of myself, but I had to sit down with somebody. And so many of you watch us every single week. You have an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation. You have an opportunity to sit down and say, I need to talk to somebody, because I done prayed about it. I done spoken tongue about it. I done flipped over about it. I done have people to put oil on. It doesn't, like your healing does not come by osmosis.
Yeah, I agree. And let me take some of the religion out of it.
Yeah.
When I'm physically sick, or I go see a doctor, right? A doctor specializes in healing the body, whatever, healing the body. When my edge is all messed up, I go to a hairstylist, somebody specialized at doing, fixing hair. If I'm hungry, I go to a restaurant where there's a chef who specializes in fixing a type of food. Like in every area, my kids need to learn. I send them to school where they have teachers. So we in every other area of our lives, it's okay to find somebody highly specialized in an area to add value to us.
Yeah.
Why is this area any different?
Come on.
Why is this area, like we see it as spooky, to go talk to someone that could help us talk out our problems and understand how it ain't really the problem, but to help us understand how to view it, how to process the information that's been passed before my eyes. It's a process thing. It's okay. It's not spooky. If you go to restaurants, if you go to the doctor, if you go to where highly specialized individuals you do, this is just one other avenue.
Yeah.
And I believe in total life prosperity. I believe in holistic healing.
Yes.
I believe in it all. So there's nothing wrong with having these conversations. I believe that's one reason why even amongst the church, the suicide rates are increasing.
Yes.
I believe that another reason why divorce rates are increasing, because we're not talking these things out. We're holding them in. We're trying to give a perception of this self-righteousness, and then on the inside, we're diseased.
Yes, suffering.
Yeah.
You're suffering. You're literally suffering. And because we have been indoctrinated into a system, and we have stereotypes, and I've heard this for so long, like certain folks that are more melanated, Black folk, African American, we don't want to talk about it. Baby, you better talk about it, because I can tell you this much. Even when you're not talking about it and you think you're the only one suffering behind it, if you have children, your children are also suffering. We have to change our own trajectory of our lives. When you change, when the seed is good and it replenishes itself, then let me say it this way. When you are good, your children will be good. But when you are not good and you're faking the funk and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna pray about it. Yes, pray. But then get yourself somewhere and call a number and have somebody to sit down and have some therapy or some counseling. You do it anyway, because when you get your hair done, you're telling your hairdresser everything. And that is not his or her specialty. You're telling your barber a whole lot of stuff.
And I'm gonna give you an example. When Jesus was walking with Peter, James, and John, he went up a little higher, right, on the mountain. Who met him there? Elijah. What did Elijah represent? Elijah represented somebody that had more information about what he was going through because of past experience. He's lived it. Elijah represented that same person in our life. But what we do, we stay right there. Peter, James, and John, and our conversation go no higher or no farther.
Yes.
Peter, James, and John walking the same path as you. They got a lot of the same thoughts. He had to go up a little higher and talk to somebody else that had more life experience in that area so I can understand how I need to move throughout this earth.
Absolutely.
And it's no different for us. Like people, like these, a lot of these counselors, or you said they did the different psychologists, counselors, they've invested a lot of years in understanding human psychology. They've invested a lot of years. They are experts in that field. And I suggest if I'm having problems processing information, and I keep seeing the same, you call it reciprocal patterns. Got me one of them words. You keep having them same reciprocal patterns. Have that conversation. It's worth. You're worth the investment.
Absolutely. So we want to say thank you so much for joining us on today. You've tuned in to Bridging the Nations. We are here every single Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 a.m. Central Time. Somebody told me 6 a.m. Pacific. I believe that's what that is.
Pacific. Yep.
Yeah. And so we want to say, if there are people that you love, forward this over to them. We know all of it was good, but forward this over to them. We want to thank every single one. Carrie, Miss Fowler, we thank you for being on here. Kenny, we thank you for being on here. Mr. John Moshi, Tracy, we appreciate you being on here on today. Devin, we appreciate you being on here. Crystal, of course, we appreciate you. And all our Facebook users that we cannot see and YouTubers that we cannot see on today. We want to we want to say thank you for being on here. And we will leave our last word to Mr. Kenny Wilder. He said, we can't be afraid to obtain knowledge and wisdom from other people.
Amen, bro.
Amen. We appreciate you. We will see you on next week. Take care. And we hope that your week is exceptional. Be well.
We out.